All right, got to give him credit where credit is due. Always Marco actually sent me a text message apologizing, and I thought it was an extremely stand-up thing to do, and it's something that a lot of people do not do today's day and age. I did a critique video of Always Marco where I debunked the concepts from network marketing, how he says it's a scam. He did one in response. He's done a couple different videos of me featuring, which I appreciate that. That's fine. And I responded to, number one, I really have to point this out. He apologized. That's massive. For a man, he admitted that he had a knee-jerk reaction. I did watch some of his content. He told his own, and it's not like he sent me the apology and then that was it. He acknowledged to his audience that he apologized for the knee-jerk reaction, and it is what it is. I mean, just for him to do that was a bridge gap. So difference of opinion aside, I couldn't care less. The guy's got my respect now just for being able to stand his ground, say his opinion. That's the whole gist of everything I care about. If you have an opinion, awesome. Put it out there, make it known. But then don't get personal. A lot of people are critical of the personal attacks I put on people. Understand something. I didn't know who Julie Joe was, Jessica Hickson was, all these people until they started pulling me into their drama. Fine, you want my attention, you get it. I said from the beginning, I have no problem fighting dirty. Jessica Hickson has been accusing people in the network marketing industry of using their children to market their product or their service, and she thinks that's disgusting. But then she puts up online her child, he needs money to buy an Xbox. The hypocrisy is what kills me. If you want to have a discussion about the industry, let's have a discussion about the industry. But when you get personal, I'll get personal right back. Julie Joe, again, is a woman who makes her living off of the personal. Her entire context and content is personal, and it's opinionated without any facts whatsoever. And we know misery loves company. Many others as well, too. Cece Suarez invited me to a debate and then said her audience probably wouldn't like the debate, so she canceled the debate. Again, she basically had censored you guys saying, hey, I don't think you would want the debate. So she backed out last minute for debate, and she acknowledged it. She admitted it. Always Marco asked me if I wanted to have a discussion. Yeah, debate, 100%. I think at this point, and I need to make it clear, there is so much I agree with those who are putting out anti-MLM content. I really do. That the industry, although I think the industry has integrity, I really do, the method of what a majority of the people are putting out is scum, it's vile, it's manipulation, and that's the thing that has to be changed, right? Really briefly, I've been in the network marketing industry for over 10 years. I've been with 3 companies. The first company I started with, I returned to. So that's 3 companies within a 10-year plus period, right? I spent time with Juice Plus is the company I started with. I'm still with them. I went with Stream, which was an energy company. That's where I got the exposure to the scumbagness of the people who are like, well, just sell the dream, sell the manipulation, and some really unethical tactics. I was with them for 6 months. And then I was with Viseo from 2019 until June or July of this last year, 2022. And then I went back to Juice Plus, and I started my business all over again. I was not very good at network marketing at all. I leveraged what I had, which was health and wellness influence, law enforcement influence, being a gym owner influence. So I was very good at selling the Juice Plus product. Plus my upline is one of the most sought after nutritionalists and dietitians in the nation. So it was very easy to leverage her. But when it came down to recruiting and building, I couldn't do it. I've told my story many times. When I started to see how people recruit, and I realized that I have influence because my job was to talk people into handcuffs without resisting and have them think that was a great idea so nobody got hurt. I realized that the more you actually are truthful to people, the more you pour into people, and the more you tell them the truth, the easier it is to influence people to get what needs to be done, right? And I talk about that all the time. The last company I was with, their concept was, constantly keeping people on a bottle and not giving them steak and potatoes to eat. It was the traditional emotionalism and sensationalism that I can't stand. So I want to hear some of the arguments and debates of this video that Always Marco did with Erin Bies. I don't know her, haven't done any of her content. I'm watching this and I started to take notes. And I want to do this live because I think this is important. Well, not live. I'm going to record this and post this. Couple different things. And Marco and I are going to talk about this. Marco texted me as we're looking back and forth to scheduling this, and 100% I'm going to go and talk to his audience. If people can get past the personality, fine, maybe you'll hear what I have to say. If not, I get it. I'm the same way in some aspects of it. But he said in the text message to me, he's never been involved in an MLM. He personally has never done network marketing or multi-level marketing, and his views are from seeing what happens with, and I want to use his words to be 100% fair. I do not want to misrepresent him in any way. Again, the man is a gentleman. The man is professional, so far from what I can tell, and he's going to get my respect. He flat out says, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I paid him a compliment, told him what I told him was that I appreciate your apology. I appreciate that. You're a highly intelligent and well-educated young man who does offer tremendous value in the content you are doing. It's a shame you have experienced such negativity in MLM, and I do not fault you for now seeing it in the light that you do. I've said it numerous times. The method and the many individuals, the method that many individuals use to recruit in their MLM business is manipulative and vile, and I agree with most every one of you who has put out anti-MLM content. My position has always been to call out and condemn those who lie and scam. Keep putting out criticism and keep exposing what you feel is a scam. It's a great opportunity for those of us who do believe in the industry to prove our views and bring integrity back to the industry. He responded back with, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I want to be transparent here and let you know I was never actually in an MLM myself. My first exposure to the industry was that my best friend from high school was completely brainwashed by an MLM and tried to recruit me. I actually believe that the MLM business model itself, regardless of the good intentions of some of those in the industry like yourself, is doomed to become a scam by design, and there is no way to operate legitimately. I'd love to have a conversation with you if you were still open to it. If everybody out there presented the way that text message was brought across, the solutions that we could come up with is incredible. And I really don't watch too much of Marco's anti-MLM content. And to be fair, Marco, I kind of want to put this out to you. You talked in one of your videos about me being a gym owner, a cop, radio show host. You're like, man, this guy's done a lot of things. I'm almost 50. I've never been married. I have no children, and I'm constantly reinventing myself. I do a lot of things really well. I'm one of the most well-known Wing Chun instructors in the world. I owned a gym. I'm on police content forums, broadcast, podcast, news. I ran for Cook County Sheriff out here in Chicago. I was a police officer from 2001 to 2019. I call out the law enforcement industry the exact same way that you call out your industry or this industry, right? The point being is that you're younger than I am. I don't know how much younger than I am than you are, but the way that you presented that text message, if people did not go straight for clicks and views and likes like Julie Joe, like CC Suarez, like Jessica Hickson, the thumbnails, the manipulation. Here, the one thing that you guys have to understand is, and it's not you because I haven't seen you really do this yet, but everybody in the anti-MLM community, they're doing the same emotional manipulation tactics to appease their commenters that they didn't like, that people were appeasing their recruitments for. That's the content you'll never find on my channel. And for the most part, none of you guys ever critique the stuff that I put out. You never critique the times when I'm condemning network marketing. You critique the personal stuff I do. You don't critique the content I'm putting out. So that's hopefully you'll put a fair piece out there. But the way that you presented that statement, if everybody in network marketing produced content like that and made that statement and that's their views, I think that we would cover so much ground of mutual content, and we could be able to fix the problem together. But I'm going to watch this. This is 13 years in MLM, multi-level misery. I'm going to watch this with Erin Bies and Always Marco, and just have a conversation about it.
You were making six figures, 100K a year, technically on paper, but your expenses were cutting it down to less than 10?
Yes. My name is Erin Bies, and I am 42 years old, about to be 43 in a couple months. And I was a part of 6 MLM companies over 13 and a half years.
All right, so first thing I want to talk about there, she's a part of 6 MLM companies in 13 and a half years. That's 2.5 companies every year. I mean, we just need to point it out there, though. I want to hear about the experiences she had with the companies, but right there, if you're jumping from company to company to company to company, that's a red flag. That's a massive red flag. No brick and mortar opens up, and if you're a brick and mortar business, it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to start making an income for yourself, not just to pay the business back. So right there, I mean, props to her for admitting that. You were with six companies in 13 and a half years. I mean, that's a lot, but that's also seems what people do is they jump and jump and jump and jump and jump when they're not making any progress.
What was going on in your life? What was your background? What was it that got you drawn into the first MLM you were ever in?
I was invited to a party from a coworker. It was one of those parties. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
A business launch party. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a romance party. And my husband was like, yeah, you should go. And I was like, yeah, of course he's going to say that. But I ended up going, and I was like, I could totally do this. It's kind of how I got into it.
So they were pitching you guys on the love adult toys, I should say, and then saying that you could become a distributor of them yourself and host these parties. So then I'm guessing you purchase a starter pack, and off we are.
And off we go.
Yeah. Yep. So what was your experience in that first company like?
My experience in the first company was doing lots of parties. I think I recruited my first person within the first month, had no idea what I was doing. And I want to say I was doing 2 or 3 parties a week. And
that's a lot of work for a niche down brand company. I mean, I'm with a company that is fruits and vegetables in capsule form, right? That's every human being. And one of the biggest problems that I learned with network marketing was when you approach a product first, you're eliminating 50% potentially of the people you wind up prospecting for clients and for a business, right? And I've said this a million times. If I went to Avon and I started with Avon, I could have done very well, in Avon, because although I'm not their makeup, I'm not James Charles, but if I looked at it and said, hey, guys, do you need makeup? No, I don't. Well, do you need money? If I had approached it from a business aspect, everybody needs money. Not everybody needs the makeup. So in this aspect, my company, the reason I went back to Juice Plus was many different reasons. I've talked about this before. The longevity of the company, the simplicity of the product, the research on the product, and the fact that it's both ends of everybody needs to get health and wellness, and then everybody also needs money. So when you niche down to where it's a sex toy party and you're doing 2 to 3 parties a week, that's a lot of work. And she acknowledges in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. None of us did. That's the problem. Dude, when I started in the industry, I didn't really start to study the industry until 2019. So I went all that year winging it just like anybody else did. And is it a wonder why so many of us failed in the beginning and why we were like, how are these people making these $1 million plus a year, this and that? There's a couple different things. Number one, I don't care who says what. Almost 90% of the people who are at the top of the upper echelon, although they say, well, I want you to be better than me and I want you to know more than me. No, the psychological aspect of it is it's an addiction being seen. It's an addiction being the one. It's an addiction being on that stage, and they're not going to pour themselves into you. The other side of it is, too, if you really know the network marketing industry, you know that sadly, and this is in any industry, and this is the problem I have with this because we're always comparing it to MLM, Olympic sports, professional sports, politics, business in general, any craft at all, to get at the top of your game, you have to be obsessed with it. You have to spend 24/7 in it. You have to study it, know it, eat it, sleep it, breathe it. You can ask anybody who's a high-level competitive athlete or somebody who really is in the game of their personal business, right? Their niche. That's the one thing we do in this network marketing is we dump people in. That's it. We don't do anything with them. And people don't take it seriously because it's a 100% commission sales job. And network marketing is infamous for going after the weak-minded or the easily manipulated. It really is.
In the area that we lived in, I had to travel. So I was traveling about an hour and a half one way just to get to the parties. So the hidden expenses that we hear about, that we have experienced if you've been a part of multi-level marketing companies before, you know, the gas and the late night stops because you're starving, and, you know, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that specifically with these kind of party plan multi-level marketing companies like Pampered Chef and Sensi and those types of companies, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that people are not getting paid for. I mean, that's pretty standard in multi-level marketing.
Well, that's fine. But is that a scam because you were not told about it? Or is it a scam because that's, I'm having a hard time understanding that. Anytime I've ever promoted, like, so if I do my cigar promotions, I give away cigars for free to perpetuate the brand. When I teach, or when I started to build my martial arts business, I used to do seminars for free, 8-hour seminars for free. I used to drive to wherever for free. When I really started promoting my book and doing speaking events, I drove to Nevada, Florida, Washington, D.C., Texas, was never paid. I knew what I was doing to promote. You have to give in order to get. Now, this is business. Are those write-offs? Because I'm going to tell you, in the first several years of doing the business, nobody told me about the tax benefits for becoming a network marketer. Nobody told me about that stuff. When I owned my gym, how much stuff did I have to give away to get people in the door? So the cost that you're talking about, driving, late night food, all this, is it different than what you would be doing if you were trying to make your brand, as if you had coffee mugs and you're not, and this is 10 years ago, right? So social media wasn't as big as it is now. And one of the reasons I left Juice Plus in the beginning was they didn't want me using social media in 2016, 2017. They thought it was an unfair advantage. This was before people were using their social media. So is this just something you were not aware of? Because how you're conveying the message is, it's like, oh, you got manipulated. Well, if you were not taught it, yes, shame on your upline. But it's not illegal. It's not immoral. The absence of them telling you about it is. But at the same point in time, too, what did you think was going to happen? You're not going to get compensated for driving, for gas mileage, for all this on your taxes, maybe, but you know this. So when we get into this, we have to be transparent. And again, one of my thoughts is if we can acknowledge all this stuff off the bat and from talking about this, hey, you're going to be doing parties, you're going to be doing this, you're not going to get paid for it, and we're transparent about it, we're giving people a decision whether or not they want to do the business, right? So are we scamming them if we're telling them all this up front? Just something to think about.
But, you know, when you're prepping lap boards and you have stuff that you're demoing, and like Pampered Chef is, you know, you're making meals and you have to get the groceries, or have your hostess get groceries and stuff like that. You're working constantly, but this is the
again, Erin, every business out there, a business owner is saturated in it 24/7, and the cost comes out of their pocket almost always up front.
first company where it was physical work. And I don't mean like labor. I mean prepping lap boards, making sure everything is ready for the party, traveling to the party. It's very different than things that you'll see kind of on social media, you know?
For sure.
I don't want to say this, but I want to be as respectful as possible. Do you hear how it just sounds like you complained about doing hard work? When I owned my gym, I was a police officer. My days on were 3 days on, 3 days off. I worked 3 12-hour shifts in a row, had 3 off. When I did 12 or 5 to 5, 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. or 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., those times spent after that. I also had a YouTube channel I was running and my gym. I had to film content. I had to teach classes. I had to go on it was exhausting. Plus I had to drive a certain distance, 45 minutes from the department to my gym, and then 45 minutes back home in an opposite direction. Gas, mileage on my car, all this, hard work. So it sounds like, I'm not accusing you of this, but if a person listens to this, the first thing they heard is, okay, well, you got played because you went in this blindly. You didn't know what it was to take to run a business, and you're complaining about hard work. I'm not saying you are. That's how it comes across.
So what was it that made you ultimately decide to leave that company, or what happened there?
Yeah, so in 2000, it was either 2013 or 2014, that company was actually bought out by another romance company. And so we woke up to an email and it said, "Hey, welcome to this new company." And the entire time, I'll just say the company names because I think it's important. The first company was called Slumber Parties, and it was bought out by Pure Romance. And so that first company, we had always been told by various leaders and stuff in the company that Pure Romance, was terrible and this and that. And then we wake up to an email, it's like, "Welcome to Pure Romance." And that was kind of the start of, wait, I'm not sure that I want to be here.
Yeah, that's rough. That's shitty. And again, when I left Juice, so my story is I got manipulated into going to Juice Plus, right? The person who brought me in said, "I'm going to give you a month off of the rent that you're paying here to teach your martial arts classes if you wind up doing my business." $500 a month off? Shit, I'll go right in. That's great. I'm glad I did, right? But if it was a niche, like when I went to the Stream, which was an energy company, didn't really fit my vibe. The Viseo was great. It really was. And I did very well with it. I recruited a ton of people. The reason I left was specifically, I wanted a foundational company, right? What she's talking about is what got me scared with Viseo. It's a 5-year-old company. The owner, Dallin Larson, is infamous for starting companies, bringing them to $1 billion in transactions, then selling them. I didn't want that because as the company kept growing and growing and growing, I'm like, well, what happens in 10 years from now? We sell. Shit. I didn't know. So Juice Plus has been known for 52 years. They've had the same CEO. So it's kind of like it was a no-brainer for me to go back to that, right? But what she's talking about, this sucks. You're niching down. It's a specific audience. How many women want sex toys? How many women want this? Versus, so you're really, the amount of work she had to do for this, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that she had to do for this. And to wake up with a company that says, "Hey, we just got sold and you weren't told about it," that would make me very uneasy.
There's a lot of things that were promised, we're going to take care of you guys. We're excited that you were here, but it was a very us versus them mentality. Even within Pure Romance, of all the Slumber Parties people coming on versus the people that have been in Pure Romance. And it was pretty wild. I didn't stay very long. And actually, I think that was in January of 2013 or 2014. By June, I had already resigned because I was like, well, this isn't for me. I'll just figure out something else to do.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And then I was approached. Let me be careful on how I word this because I don't remember if I was approached or if I reached out to one of my former upline in Slumber Parties that joined Pure Romance, and she was starting her own romance company. And so there was conversation had, and then we were sued because I wanted to join the new company called Love Winks.
Right.
That bothers the shit out of me. Where the no compete clause, I don't understand that for companies. And fuck any company who does that because you're taking away the ability for somebody to make money. I don't get that at all. And if you're that threatened about somebody who's got 100 reps underneath them and they go to another company, if you're that threatened, then your company, then your product and your service suck. They really do. So so again, what Erin went through was you go through the initial stages where you believe in the industry, right? And that's what kept me in. I'm like, man, I can't make this work. But I believe in it, and I really wanted to follow these people who work in it. So she goes into another company, and then they fucking threaten to sue her for a non-compete. That's horseshit. That's something that would automatically make me condemn this industry. So again, you see, there's a lot of stuff I align with these people on, but again, it's the presentation that I really want to hear. That's why, again, I'm giving Marco the benefit of the doubt here for the conversations because I know he has the right mindset. And I know he could wind up solving a lot of problems. But again, my couple issues are you weren't in the industry. And to be fair too, Marco, some of the stuff you've tried before, you've quit very early. Music, stand-up comedy. So there's a longevity factor that may be an issue, right? We are generationally different. My generation was told by my parents, just shut up and do it. Your generation has so many options to go all over the place. I can't fault you for that. That's what you know and what you're used to. I'm a toughen up and finish kind of person. Just the shit that I was put through, I'm a product of the 70s. So, but let's keep going with this.
And yeah, we all know how that goes.
And were you sued because you found out that you had actually signed some form of non-compete agreement when you first signed up with the first company, and now you're being sued because you're violating that?
Yeah, they were basically accusing us of cross-recruiting, none of which I was doing. But
even if you did do it, why does that matter? Why does that matter? That, I think, is the shittiest thing in the world. If she builds up a team and she wants to take them somewhere else, guess what? The team has the option to say no. They can say, no, I'm good here. I'm good here. I don't want to go anywhere. If companies are that threatened, well, that's, I don't know what to tell you.
Pure Romance ended up winning that, and we had to take off a year of working
shitty.
with that company. And
that's
I don't
shitty.
even want to say it that way, but I couldn't work for a year, which worked out fine because we ended up moving in that time period and I was able to focus on my family.
And I'm guessing, as it goes in most of these situations where an MLM company sues somebody, I mean, they basically just use their financial might to dissuade anyone from actually pursuing that lawsuit.
So dumb.
So was it one of those situations where you were like, fuck this, I'm not even gonna bother like fighting this, like I'll just move on?
Well, some of these companies will actually cover the legal fees and stuff for the people, because there's an investment there. I feel like they treat it kind of like an insurance policy. If I cover the legal fees and I defend you and all of this, you're going to stick around in our company when you're able to actually work. You're going to stick around because we just took care of all those legal fees. And that's basically what happened.
That's incentivizing, and I get it. It's not manipulative to a degree. It's not unethical. It's what it does. They're trying to get you to stay, because again, if you recruit all those people and you leave, it's going to hurt them. So yeah, it's the whole, well, if you leave me, you're never going to find anybody better than you. Come back, stay. Let me buy you dinner. I get it. It sucks.
The company, Love Winks, took care of all of the legal fees.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, well, you're invested. Wow, they did that. Same as your reaction. Wow, and then you stay with the company a little bit longer. They have these insurance policies, like stuff like that. And then,
Okay, I just want to ask, and I'm not suggesting you do because legal fees are insane. If you legally fought it, could you have won? I don't know what your state is. Non-competes are hilarious. When I sat there and I first started teaching martial arts, my second instructor, he had a lawyer who was one of his students, sent me a cease and desist letter and non-compete. And I, fuck you. You're gonna trademark a punch. You're gonna trademark a kick. You can't enforce that. When I was in the gym industry, learning how to run a gym, I had talked to trainers who were involved with big box corporate gyms who admitted, yeah, we have non-competes for our trainers. So if they leave and go somewhere else, they can't train anywhere else, but we can't enforce them. You cannot enforce a non-compete. So I have to and that's just what I was told, but I'm also in Illinois. I don't know how it is in other states. I'm wondering is if the intimidation factor wasn't so overwhelming, oh my God, legal fees are going to take me to court. If you fought it, could you have won? I don't know what that answer is, but I know how they bully and they wind up getting you to wind up staying, but I get it.
Car bonuses and stuff like that. I feel like all of that is just an insurance policy to keep the person around.
Yeah, let's back up for a second. Why would a company, that's a bonus. You're doing a great job, stay. I'm going to stay with anybody who treats me the way that I deserve. The harder work I put in and I'm recognized for it, I'm going to stay. So again, I have no problem with that.
I'm still surprised by that though, because was Love Winks an MLM as well?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the churn rate, the attrition rate of people leaving is so high that I would almost think that from the company's perspective, they wouldn't bother to defend their people. They would be like, we'll create a new Erin tomorrow. I would think that would be their approach. But for your sake, that is good that they took that approach. I mean, you said they were a new company at that time, so maybe they weren't seasoned enough to know that they should just maybe let you go. But
well, I don't know, because when you look at the investors of some of these companies, they're not new to the industry. They know kind of how to play the game. And in my opinion, I feel like that's definitely Love Winks. Some of the players involved in that company, in my opinion, they know exactly what they are doing. They knew exactly what they were.
A lot of this is in-house stuff, right? I mean, I could talk about law enforcement, then I could talk about my department. So you're talking about an industry, policing, law enforcement, then you're talking about a specific department, how shitty it was run, how vile my chief was, the corruption that went on in there. So again, remember, I'm always defending the industry, and I know that some companies are shit. So now we're getting into the minutia of, well, this is what the people with the company did, and this is her experience, but you're going to start compiling on the bad taste that it's putting in people's mouths for this industry. And it does suck.
Creating. And then there was a 6 or 7 year history with the president of that company and myself. So she knew who I was. And in my opinion, she knew exactly how to manipulate me to keep me going and tell me exactly what I needed to hear, so that I stuck it out and was like, listen, you know, I'm here. I'm loyal to you. They use loyalty a lot to keep people around, which is disgusting.
For sure.
Okay, it's disgusting, but Erin, you fell for it. How is the industry a scam, or the methods are a scam? I'm not insulting you. Do not take this the wrong way, because you went through it and now you're educated. Now your eyes are open. You were green back then. I was green back then. All you have to do is get 2 people. All I got to do is get 2 people. You know how fucking hard it is to get 2 people when you don't know what you're doing and you're not educated? So yeah, you were told, you were lied. It's dating. That's anything else out there. How many men will lie and manipulate women to get in their pants? How many women will lie and manipulate and bat their eyes to get men hooked in a relationship? How many people will sit there and make Liver King or any other supplement aspect out there? And the marketing and integrity. I've said this again a million times. If you believe that you're going to crack open a Coors Light and a Swedish bikini team is going to pop down on a freight train coming right past only for you, and you're going to wind up being able to party with those girls, you're out of your mind. If you think that every kiss begins with K and you're going to go and get your girlfriend a diamond ring and that's going to solve all your problems, that's your fault for being stupid enough to believe that. So again, you got manipulated. It's the game. It sucks. I don't do it. I don't like it. But that is the game of life and how people are. That's manipulation versus influence. I want to influence people positively. I don't like manipulation, but sadly, it's not illegal.
We're a family.
Yeah, that's actually what they call their company group, the Love Wings family group or something like that, because that company's still around. It's pretty crazy.
So now a few years have passed between Pure Romance, Love Wings, but you said you were in the industry for 13 and a half years. So what was the next step to get you back into MLM? Because so far, it doesn't sound like you've really had this like awakening, realizing the nature of the industry and the more sinister elements of it. It was just sort of a weird legal thing, like this company bought out this company. So
and Marco is extremely intelligent and articulate, but the problem I'm having is he doesn't know sinister because he's hearing these all second and third party hands. He hasn't experienced it. So again, it's like people who judge law enforcement. You don't know what the job is. You know, if you haven't done it, you haven't done it. I can't critique brain surgeons because I've never done the job. I don't critique I pick a topic that I'm not educated in all. I won't critique it or pass it off as if it's my stuff. So the only problem I really have with always Marco is his content now is anti-MLM, when before it was far more diverse, but now it's specifically anti-MLM because there's an audience and a niche of people who are emotionally hurting in this industry, and you're capitalizing off of it when you have had zero experience yourself. So that's like me giving marriage counseling advice because I fucking dated before and I've seen my friends go through marriaging problems. I should start giving parenting advice because I was a cop and I saw how parents dealt with their kids. That's what you're doing, and that's a big problem I have with this. And I want you to acknowledge that too, that you have no real experience in the industry and you're passing along the stories of others.
You didn't actually get scorned at that time in the way a lot of people are. So I'm guessing that's coming. So what was the next company?
That's coming, but it took several companies.
Sure.
So the next step was we moved, we got settled. It was the summertime. Kids were getting ready to go back to school. So we were prepping for that. And then the 1 year agreement, or what, I don't even know what the legal term is, where I could join Love Wings and start working was coming up. And so I ended up joining, bought a kit, and started just, doing parties in my area. And
those parties suck. Just to let you know, I hated them. Didn't do them. Never did one at my house. I invited them to when my upline was doing them. The living room parties are the fucking worst on the planet. I became successful in network marketing when we were allowed to use the internet and the lockdown came down in Zoom. That's great. I would do them in like the hotel conference rooms, but I would never, ever, ever do them. And you're kind of cover costs then, right? But there's a way to do that. You put a deposit down and you don't book it until you get a certain amount of people who are promised to show and committed to show. And then there are times you can actually get a confirmation from them. But my God, those living room parties sucked. So here she is doing living room parties, and she niches down in a very specific market. This is hard work, very hard work.
And my son at the time was 2 going on 3, and I was still kind of struggling with that after having a baby weight. And the following summer was when I came across a Facebook Live from, you already know where I'm going. It was from Jessie Lee Ward, who was in Modere at the time, and I was connected with through slumber parties. We were both on the advisory board. And
full disclaimer, I'm friends with Jessie Lee Ward. She's a friend. And again, I know her tactics. I understand them. She pressure tests. She's 2 different people to a degree. When she's business, she's fucking high speed, low drag. Personally, she's far more carefree, and she's charismatic, and she's loving, and she's wonderful, and she gives, and she's fun. But that Boss Lee, that's her, just like me. Dominic Izzo, off mic, off camera, more subdued, very introverted. The bull of MLM. I got that from Tillman Ferlita, who had stated in a podcast interview he did, if you're going to do anything, be the bull at what you do, even if you're the janitor. And I wanted to take on this industry, and I really wanted to correct some problems. And I know my personality is extremely aggressive. So I wanted to bring that persona into this because it works for the other content I do, or the other content I do. So not everybody's going to like Jessie Lee Ward. I've said this publicly. I couldn't fucking stand her when I first saw her. She's annoying, and she's high speed, and she's just all over the place. And then I started to fucking pay attention to her and watch what she was doing. And I see the other big industry problem too is, I don't know, and I haven't heard Erin say this yet. Jessie Lee Ward doesn't do this. I don't do this. One of the biggest problems that people do in the network marketing industry is they recruit for friends, meaning they build rapport, which I think is the worst thing to do during recruiting. Fucking worst thing we do. Because if oh yeah, Erin, you got kids, it's awesome, and I'm going to find out everything about you, I'm going to manipulate you, use your pain points, this and that. Now, when you're my friend, you think I care about you, when to be honest, I care about your success, which means I got to work for you. I'm backwards. I work for you when I recruit you. My team knows, get me on the phone with people, let me do things, let me call people for you. When you stop working, yes, I do cut you off 100% because I need to see some effort. And a lot of people don't like that. But the way I solved that problem was I'm not personal with people anymore. I don't give a shit about what goes on in your life, because the second that you don't show me the same effort that I expect, now all of a sudden you take it personally when I'm shunning you, which all it is I just can't give you my time anymore. So I know a lot of people, when they get involved in this industry, they think their upline is their friends. They're not. It's business. But shame on the fucking upline for recruiting and acting like a friend in the first place just to get them to enroll.
I was like, wow, what's she doing? You know, we kind of lost touch over the years, and she was doing a product live, and I was like, oh man, cool. What's this? You know, and hit all of the, in my opinion, like trigger points, weight loss, kind of statements, that vulnerability, stuff that they use to draw people in. And I was like, oh man.
Every marketing company in the world does. If you don't get an emotional response, people aren't going to buy your product. That is the job of marketing companies. Find a way to tie in to the American citizen. Doesn't matter their race, their gender, their creed, their religion, their values. We need to tie into them an emotional response to get them to buy our product. So again, I have to assume Erin is a smart and intelligent woman. But if you're saying that you got triggered into something, then that means Jessie Lee Ward marketed extremely well, and she did what was needed to be done. I don't know what the problem is with that.
And so signed up as a customer, and then several months later, I ended up joining as a distributor for Modere. So I was actually a part of 2 companies at once.
I hope you talk about that. Was that you saw the value and you wanted to do it, or were you pressured by your upline to do it?
So Love Winks, where I was doing in-person parties, traveling all over the city. And then online, I was doing Modere. So I was talking about all of the,
I've done that. I tried to do that when I first went to Viseo. I still was with Juice Plus, tried to divide my time. Couldn't do it. So I quit Juice Plus specifically. You cannot divide. Oh, can I do 2 network marketing companies at once? If your company allows it, sure. Will you be successful? Not a chance in hell. It's division of time. It really is. And it's horrible.
All of the products and my weight loss journey. I started working out around that time, working with a trainer. And it was pretty crazy. And I did 2 companies through the end of that year. And then I left.
A lot of work.
I resigned from Love Winks at that time. And that's another crazy story. When I called the president to tell her I was resigning, I just wanted you to hear it from me first, like a professional would do. She was like, "What? No," started hysterically crying and hung up on me. And I was like, "Bro, are you okay? What?" Yeah. And so then I took Modere full time, did that for a couple years, and I was fired from Modere because of being in a leadership chat where allegedly Jesse Lee Ward was talking terrible about other leaders and stuff like that. I was part of that group, and then we joined Prove It.
What's terrible, and why can't you? I don't understand. You could talk terrible, but what was specifically being said? Because this is the vague stuff. This is where people she was talking terribly. That's perception's reality. Was she calling him, "Hey, this is a fucking scene, and this person's a liar, and this and that," or was she just talking about? Because you guys, on your content, you talk horribly about people. 90% of the network marketing anti-MLM content is specifically talking about the personality of people like Jesse Lee Ward. My personality. You guys attack personalities nonstop. So, I mean, that's kind of a bit of a hypocrisy. If you had a bad taste in your mouth, it doesn't seem like any of you can let go and to try to improve the industry. Julie Joe, Jessica Hickson, I haven't seen any of your content, so I'll just limit it to this. Cece Suarez, you guys go after the personality of the person and not the context of what they said. Like, Julie Joe is infamous for saying, "Trigger warning, he does this and this and this." And when you isolate what I've said, there's nothing wrong with what I've said. But the perception is how I say it, my persona, me being a man, all of this. And it's horrible and evil. So again, what was the conversation that she had? And you were fired? So what was the clause or the code of conduct that why didn't you plead your case? There's got to be more to this story. You got fired, so you were sitting were you bad-mouthing too? Did somebody have a complaint against you? Did you go right to the company and say, "Hey, that's actually not what I had said"? I would have preserved my integrity and said, "You're firing me for something somebody else said"? No. So why didn't you fight that? I'm curious about that.
Got you. And so what are the products that Modere and Prove It sell, just so people know?
Yeah. Modere sells household stuff, weight loss stuff, even though they're not supposed to market it that way. They sell like toothpaste and lotion and laundry soap. And
how do they market if it's not weight loss stuff? Again, these are so vague, right? Because I'm with Juice Plus, and you cannot give none of us give any factual health and wellness claims. We got 46 double-blind, peer-reviewed, gold standard fucking studies, and I still won't say, "This study, which has been put in this American Medical Journal or this European Medical Journal or whatever, proves that it does this." I still won't make that claim. So again, you're being very vague on this. And the problem with videos like this and content like this is you're connecting on the lowest common denominator with somebody who had a bad experience, who wasn't fucking properly trained right. And that in the ratio is in the thousands compared to the people who are successful. "Oh yeah, I went through the same thing." Well, what did you go through? If we broke down the phone call with your CEO who called and hung up, what's the reality of that? What was the actual conversation? "Oh no, you're quitting." And then you hung up. There's got to be more to it. You were fired for a phone conversation. There's got to be more to it. They're marketing on the way they shouldn't be. There's got to be more to it. This is the key components that people leave out. And this is the same tactics that they can't stand, that they claim the MLM movement uses, but they're using to defend their position. So again, I want to point this out as we go because I want to be fair on everything.
Kind of like Melaleuca, in my opinion, a little bit, kind of a little bit of everything. And then Prove It sells ketone.
What does Melaleuca do? Or does they sell a little bit of everything? Because what did you just say? Did Melaleuca sell a little bit of everything, or they sell weight loss stuff they shouldn't? You see how it's just how you say it and whatnot too. It's the same manipulation tactics as people accusing MLM.
Related products. So they have this fasting kit that they just rolled out, which in my opinion is garbage. You don't need a kit to fast, but whatever.
Okay. I've seen this stuff too when people do product reviews. Are you a medical expert? Are you a dietitian? Are you a nutritionalist? I'm not. So if I get a fasting kit and I tell you, I don't think you need a fasting kit, you shouldn't fucking believe a word I'm saying. Why? So this is influence and manipulation as well too. Your word on your social media, you have just as much power to condemn products as people who are trying to promote them. It's all opinion. So you're manipulating just as much as you claim the people in MLM are.
They sell exogenous ketones, a prolonged, it's called a reboot kit. It's a 60-hour fast kit. And yeah, so that's pretty much what they sell.
When you first joined Modere, you talked about them hitting the trigger points. And I think this is an interesting thing to sort of unpack here, is because 70% of reps in the MLM industry are women. And a huge selling point for them, or I guess recruiting point for them, is, in my opinion, weaponizing female empowerment and weaponizing feminism and the whole girl boss culture, and perpetuating this idea that you're like some victim of the patriarchy and we need to like step up and reclaim our power. And I think this is harmful.
He will get zero argument from me. Is it manipulation or is it a tactic they use? Again, that's the individual person. I don't do that shit. So if I don't do that, and I'm very transparent about what I want, how I'm recruiting, what it is, am I scamming people? If you have a scammer and a non-scammer in their same industry, is the industry scam or is the individual a scammer versus not? This is the problem I have, is you guys are attacking the perception of what the totality, it's like saying all cops are bastards. Well, we know they're not. Now, we can condemn the industry because it has a lot of bad apples and shit needs to change. But we have to start with the fact of the industry, the righteousness of the ideology of law enforcement is not a scam. It's just the same with everything else, but he's not going to get an argument out of it because there's a lot of manipulation in this, the way they deliver it.
Obviously, for many reasons, on the surface alone, it's harmful, but it's harmful because it suggests that women who are maybe military wives or mothers who are stay-at-home mothers, single mothers even, it suggests to them that their role as a mother isn't doing enough, which in my opinion,
I don't know if it suggests to them that it's doing enough, but it's targeting women who are, maybe they gave up their lives to have a child for their husband. Their husband's out there working 24/7. He gets to leave the house. It's not easy work being a mom. There's a lot of identity that's lost. So now we come in and rediscover there is no difference to a degree than me sliding in a married woman's DMs and flattering her like shit to try to get in her pants. But it's not illegal, and it sucks. And here's the problem. Most of you who are fans of Always Marco or Erin are going to hear that and go, oh, see, he's acknowledged. It's marketing. It's marketing. Go look at any single commercial that's done during the soap opera hours during the day and how they're targeting specifically women. Shit, doesn't everyone remember Calgon Take Me Away? Oh, my God, that was a 70s and 80s commercial that was crazy. It was just, you gotta get women out there and have them feeling sexy in a bathtub because their day is all hectic and blah, blah, blah. It's marketing. It's marketing. End of story.
Being a mother is the most important job that exists, and it's the most noble thing. Like, I'm not faulting anyone.
Shit, modeling. What is it? What was that? Barbizon was big in the 90s, 80s and 90s, where you would go and try to get recruited and your kid would get a Barbizon modeling contract that you had to pay for, and they would just manipulate you and tell you, oh, your child is beautiful. They're going to be in the next television commercial, this and that. And then they made money off of the fees they collected to represent you. This has been going on for a long time. So again, until you outlaw the tactics of schmoozing people over, it's still legal.
for having a child and then saying, you know what, I'm going to step back from my career to raise the next generation. I think that is a beautiful, noble thing.
Yeah, I do think what you're saying is accurate. I think outside of multi-level marketing, there is a lot of emphasis that a stay-at-home parent that's not enough.
Thank the feminist movement for that.
We could go into the economy and inflation and all of that stuff, but specifically with multi-level marketing, that's one of the main pain points that they use, especially when it comes to health and wellness companies. I feel like that's kind of a double-edged sword. You already have the pain points of making extra income, community and those types of things. And then they push it, just like you said, like, hey, we're empowering other people. But when you look at the statistics and the data around multi-level marketing, how are you empowering anybody when the majority of people are losing money or not making any at all? That's the opposite of empowerment. It's
okay. But again, capitalism, the 1%, if you look at Olympic athletes, and I was a wrestler, and I was not talented or skilled enough to become an Olympic athlete. If I went through the same coaching process, if I got a scholarship to fucking University of Iowa and I got to train under Dan Gable, and I still did not have the talent, skill set, whatever attributes I needed to go and compete in the Olympics, and 99% of my team didn't, does that mean that it's a scam? Again, I don't know if this is going to relate to too many people. Kurt Angle was a collegiate wrestler, and he was an Olympic gold medalist. Is that, no, that's, yeah. And there's a Kurt, I'm thinking of the other Kurt too. Mr. Perfect. He was another one. He's another Kurt. I can't remember. I'm confusing these two right now. He was another college wrestler who made it in the WWE. You got Brock Lesnar. So those are three people I can think of off the bat who turned collegiate wrestling and high school wrestling into a profession for a lot of money. What about the other hundreds of thousands of wrestlers who didn't have the talent? Think about NBA players, NFL players, politicians. So it's the opportunity is there. Does that mean everybody needs a participation award, Erin? And if they're going to give you the opportunity, if you can't fucking make it work, that always falls back on the individual. End of story. Stop advocating for a socialistic level playing field, because there never is going to fucking be one in any aspect of life.
It's the opposite of feminism, in my opinion. It's preying on women. It's hurting women. And then when you look at the demographic of women.
No offense, if women are too stupid then to get involved with it, then they're easily manipulated. And if that's a problem, then maybe women need to step up and say, shit, I need to not be so sweet-talked now. I need to make me keep my emotions in check when somebody wants to come and sell me something. I don't ever remember door-to-door salesmen back from the friggin' 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s when they had to sell the housewives the fucking laundry machines and whatnot. Holy shit. Maybe this isn't an industry problem, and maybe the industry just goes, hey, women have always been an easy target. Let's keep going after them. So is that manipulation on their part, or is that a trait that across the board women need to say, yeah, I'm not going to fall for this bullshit anymore?
Men that they are targeting, stay-at-home moms, those stay-at-home parents in general. It's the opposite of feminism. It's the opposite of female empowerment. And they're saying it to our face. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So as far as the pain points, income is a big deal. One of their tools that they like to use, the income claims, the lifestyle claims,
income claims and lifestyle claims, I completely condemn. I will never, ever, ever tell somebody, because I heard that from, you're going to make $600,000 in your first 6 months. Yeah, I was stupid enough to believe it, right? It's like, oh, maybe I am. Holy shit. The lifestyle claims, dude, oh, you have more free time. Really? The more successful you are in network marketing, your time goes away. There is no such thing as free time in fucking network marketing. You are working all the time if you're going to be successful. End of story. So yeah, if that's an income claim, a lifestyle claim, fuck that. I hate people like that.
Emotional manipulation, the sharing of trauma, and using that trauma and those vulnerable type stories.
Yep, had that done, couldn't stand it. That's not business. I hate that, because now all of a sudden, you bond with John or Jane, you're bonding with them emotionally. Now you're going to use that Great, let's get back to work. Let's go ahead and let's make some phone calls this week. Then John or Jane doesn't make the amount of phone calls you expect them to do. Hey, what the fuck? I thought you were going to run with me. Well, what the fuck? I thought you cared about me. We cried in each other's arms at that conference last week. This shit I hate. Every one of my team members knows when they get involved with me, I'm not your fucking friend. I put that out there first. If you want to hit your goal and your goal is to get a 92-foot Benetti yacht serving in the Florida Keys, we're not friends until you get that. I don't want to hear about your kids. I don't give a shit about your fucking husband. I don't care about X, Y, and Z, because I can't afford to have them think that there's some level of friendship there that they could fall back on to blame later on for why their business didn't work. No fucking friends in this business.
On Facebook Lives or in posts, trying to attract people that also have been through.
Yeah, I keep cutting her off. That was the last company I was with, the upline. I love all you guys. I love all you guys. I love you. You love us? When we're putting money in your pocket. You don't love us. You need us. I hate that shit. I agree with her on this.
That in order to start conversations, to try and get them into the group, to tag them in the video so that they become a part of it. Like, hey, we're the same person. You could relate to me. It's totally fine. And all of it is just manipulation. And the bottom line is it's just to recruit.
Yeah, of course it is.
One of the great things for me about this series is being able to have women on this show to talk about their experience. Because thus far in my videos, I have focused on MLMs that mainly deal with financial products. And those companies do appeal a lot more to men, more than like a shampoo or a skincare or a weight loss company would. So there's more of a mixed demographic in there. It's not targeted as much at women. And I have always wanted to make a video, an infiltrating a pyramid scheme video about Monet. But I know that the easiest criticism that the people in that company or in the industry could jump to is that I hate women and I'm making the video because I'm a misogynist or something like that. So being able to sort of build up this catalog of multi-level misery with stories that corroborate what.
So far, this is all emotional. And the context, I mean, we're 15 minutes into this. It's bad decisions were made because of lack of education. Fair enough. Fair fucking enough. That's a lot of people. You're not going to know what you're doing until you fail at it. And then manipulation. Okay. Well, if I go to the club and a stripper tells me she loves me and then fucking spends 6 months for me draining my bank account, whose fault was that? It's my fault. So this is a big problem. Is it the industry or is it the people in the industry who they're using tactics that is marketing? Do I approve of them? No. I really don't. It's shitty. Will they be exposed in the long run? Are they hurting the industry? Yeah, because they look at people like me then, oh, he's in a scam industry. No, these fuckers are doing it. The industry is not a scam. The people manipulating it are just manipulating. And sadly, that's still shitty, but it's not illegal. So that's the problem I'm having with this is just say, I got played. I got played. I got scammed. I got played. I didn't see it. You don't hear, the one thing you don't hear in any of them, Julie Joe, Cece, who admitted she was never in a network marketing company, or the maximum she spent was 72 hours in a network marketing company. What's her name? Jessica Hickson, who makes it to the top, and then she had a breakdown, allegedly, couldn't handle the pressure of success, and then leaves. And then Erin, why are none of you saying, I got fucking played, dude? I got played. I did. I believed the bullshit when they first recruited me. You're going to make 6 figures in your first 6 months. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. I believed the shit and I got played bad. And then I discovered what the industry was and I went total immersion in it. I learned all the good, all the bad, what was right, what was wrong. I wanted to be successful in it and I wanted to help fix it. Fuck this industry. Same with law enforcement. Yeah, my heart got broken with law enforcement for my chief. The people I believed in, the people that I cared about, the father figures, the brother figures. I condemn a lot of the shit in it and I'm trying to fix it, but I got played. So that you don't ever hear any onus on people who do the anti-MLM content of, yeah, I got played. It fucking sucked, but my eyes are open now.
What we established about how it is anti-feminism and anti-women in that way is very valuable because, to be honest, that's why I haven't made a video about one of these MLMs that is explicitly targeted at women yet.
Yeah, I mean, I can absolutely see where you're coming from. And just like what you and I were talking privately, not that long ago, and I was like, hey, I really appreciate that you're doing this series because, everybody's voice matters. And, you speaking up and talking about.
If everybody's voice matters, then the voices of us who agree with you, condemn the bullshit, but still support the industry and want to change it, better fucking matter. Because all you guys do is mock the shit. There's not one so far, and maybe Marco is leaning on it. There is not one anti-MLM person who in any video says, here's how we can improve the industry. You all condemn it. Every one of you seems to be this girl who dated a guy, slept with him, he didn't call back. So now there's 5 of you who have been his victims. So you see him at a club with another girl. So you bum rush her in the bathroom and all of you, he's not going to call you back. He's this, instead of going, hey dude, maybe you can stop manipulating women, or even better, maybe you can go, listen, we're fine with you dating this man, but we want you to know our sides of the story. Maybe you can make a better outcome than we did. You're all hurt people who just go out and spew just entertainment crap for your content. All of your people in the comment, not one person in your comment section offers legitimate facts about the industry to prove it's a scam. It's the methodology. It's the person, the individual. So until you start acknowledging that, you're not going to get any respect from us on our end.
Some of these companies that do target women is extremely valuable, not just because of your platform, but because it's us coming together and saying, hey, look, it doesn't matter the company. The techniques, the tactics, the manipulation, all of that stuff is the same.
Sure.
They're targeting people. Yeah. But when we all come together and we're saying,
go target K Jewelers and say, how dare you put the level of expectation that my fiance has to break the bank and spend a 10 fucking grand ring to make me happy and to keep me around longer. And then my expectation goes to shit when he puts a 3 grand ring on my finger. You're very selective in your outrage for what targets women and what doesn't. It's kind of sexist in itself too.
Hey, this is what's going on. And we're looking at the income disclosure statements and we're looking at all of this stuff. I think that it's really, really important, specifically because the health and wellness companies, I feel like, yes, there's a lot of content creators that are covering it, but it's not enough because there's one that pops up, every week. Yes. It feels like,
Yes. Well, the industry of multi-level marketing is a pyramid scheme in itself, in a way. If you look at the fact that
I've defined this on a video I did on pyramid scheme. Scheme is a system. By definition, scheme is a system. End of story. Scam is a different context. A pyramid scam is I recruit you, I recruit somebody else after you. The pyramid scam is with the money I recruited from the second person's involved. That's what I use to pay you for on your dividends or return your investment from them. That's a pyramid scam. Pyramid scheme is legitimately a system. You could say it's a pyramid. Scheme is a synonym. And I know that I'm really splitting hairs here, but it's like if we're really going to get into it, talk about the scam. There's no scam in a pyramid scheme. You are exchanging a product or a service for money legitimately. When you go, well, it's the recruiting. So you know that when you get into it, you can make this much money selling the product, or you can make this much money recruiting. If you suck at recruiting, don't recruit. Sell the product. You're not going to make as much money. The industry's not for you. Scheme versus scam, 2 very different things.
Amway is sort of the OG company that
Godfather.
set the rules in place for all of these companies to be able to copy and paste and thrive. No pun intended, because I know thrive is, yeah. You could look at Amway as the first recruit, and then every person that left Amway or saw the business model of Amway and copied it is sort of a branch off of Amway. So in a way, every MLM is just a new recruit for Amway.
The business has been around for everywhere. There's a branch of the Wing Chun I teach based out of Europe, and the Grandmaster himself, you have to go through 24 levels, I believe, as a student, paying that tuition in order to become a teacher, and then 17 levels as a teacher in order to get your instructor certification. You are annually required to host seminars that pay the grandmaster for you to get more information from him. Is that a pyramid scam? I mean, this is nothing new.
Way.
Agreed.
In a way. So Prove It was your last company.
Yeah.
And tell me about that experience.
Prove It is how do I describe this company? So they were created around 2015 by a bunch of guys. Some of them went to college together, and it's a very much like.
Again, this is where the personal stuff comes in. You could see the smirk on her face when she's talking. It's a personality conflict. You don't like what happened to you. I get it, because when I talk about shit that happened with my chief, my blood pressure boils and I'm automatically biased because the guy's a piece of shit, evil human being, right? I get it. But if we're going to really destroy the industry the way that it needs to be destroyed to be rebuilt, get factual, get dispassionate about there's immorality, there's unethics, there's illegal. So far, yeah, it's immoral that people manipulate other people, but it's not illegal. Unethics, I don't know what the ethics and the code of conduct is for the individual company, so I can't speak about that. But when it comes down to it, ultimately, if Jesse Lee Ward is such a bad person, Ray Higdon's such a bad person, I'm such a bad person, aren't we ultimately going to get exposed and be for the pieces of shit that we are? So the karma will get us, as Marco said once in a text to me. But if it's not, if we're really just perpetuating the reality of what business is, which is cutthroat, and I look at it, geez, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I'm not a fan of anymore, came to this country, could barely speak English in an era of bodybuilding that was just mocked, right, in the 60s and 70s. That man became the number one bodybuilder in the history of the sport, right? And if that wasn't enough, he became the number one box office action star ever. Ever. No one will top what Schwarzenegger did in the 80s and 90s for movies. Then he wound up marrying into United States royalty in the Kennedy family. Then his first shot, he ran for office and he won, California governor. Do you understand the amount of people that Schwarzenegger stepped on and how many people fucking hate Schwarzenegger to get where he got to? But he's beloved. He's the American dream. He's capitalist. Don't hate the player, hate the game. A lot of people just don't have the thick skin that is necessary, especially for sales. And they're not people who will do anything it takes to wind up improving in their craft. So, and it comes out as, it's a scam, it's a scam, it's a scam. No, you weren't built for the industry, and the industry does need a certain level of hardness that a lot of people just don't have.
Like bro company, in my opinion. Very much like masculine kind of company.
Okay.
They do events multiple times a year. Allegedly, their event coordinator is somebody that used to work for Tony Robbins. They work very closely with one of Tony Robbins' sons. And there's a lot of kind of overlap. Now, the reason that I was attracted to Prove It at the time was because I had just been terminated from Modere, and I had gone to a Tony Robbins event. And when I got back, we were invited to go to a Prove It event that was here in my city. We walked in and they're playing the same music as what I just experienced at the Tony Robbins event. And I was just like, what is going on? And some of the speakers at that event were the same as speakers at the Tony Robbins event. I was like, oh my God, it's a sign, because everything is a sign with.
Is it manipulation, or is it relatability where you just liked this? Why do you go back to your favorite restaurant all the time, right? You have a favorite restaurant for a reason. The service, the food, the atmosphere. It's just relatability. Again, this is purely individual emotionalism that people have a problem with this industry so far.
The people in multi-level marketing, to keep them going. So yeah, that was what attracted me to Prove It, and started drinking ketones, which they've changed their formula. Something that I know we see a lot in these health and wellness companies. They'll, have a product, Maybe that product comes from somebody else, and then they're like, well, there's lawsuits and stuff like that going on. We're going to change the form.
It's another reason why I stayed with Juice Plus and went back to them, because it's consistent as hell. You're not reinventing the wheel.
Formula, allegedly, of course, and then they don't get the same results. So what do they have to do? People have to take more of the product, more of the product, and more of the product. And that was something that I noticed with Prove It. And then when I got out, I started to kind of put some of the pieces together.
Can you prove that though? I mean, I'm not going to dispute there's a formula change, but I don't know anything about that. But is that really what happened? I mean, so is your iPhone a scam? Because we know now that they purposely wind up either draining your battery, or the iOS service has to be renewed. So you got to get a new phone every 2-3 years. Is that a scam too? Are you going to go and manipulate or talk about how Apple has manipulated us as well too? Because it's a scam? Come on, you got to get better than this.
As far as the lawsuits and the timing and some of those things. So yeah, I don't really know how else to describe Prove It.
Got it. So at this point, you've been in the industry 9 years?
Yeah, roughly 9 years. I joined in the first company in 2007.
And how many millions have you made up to this point in the story?
Yeah, no. My last year, My last year, which was one of
Here's something I want to address too. And I have not made millions in network marketing. What if we could do this, and this is the way that I want to present people to network marketing, instead of going the attraction of, you can make millions, this and that, can you? You're talking years, and you're talking doing the same thing for hours and hours and hours a day. The one thing that Marco, and I don't agree with him on, is he talked in one of his videos about you make more money at McDonald's than you do in MLM. And everybody uses that example. No one talks about the hour of work ratio and then defining that work. Most people who do network marketing, they're working 2 to 3 hours a week on this. If anything, 2 to 3 hours a week, right? McDonald's, you're doing 40 hours a week, and it's set in stone. You go there, you turn the fry button on, you dip them in the hot oil, that's it, right? So until we start having that ratio down, and there's no way to measure that, because you're not going to get people sitting there clocking in, and you're going to get those timesheets from your network marketing companies. That's one of the big disingenuous factors I have too. Second thing is, if somebody came in network marketing, and this is the way I always break this down, you have to be on the product, right? So now let's just say it costs you $200 a month to be on the product. Everyone complains about that. Well, that's also overhead. It costs me $3,800 a month to run my 2,700 square foot gym, right? So $200 a month to run your business. Maybe it's like with Juice Plus, it's $52 a year, right? $1 a week, $52 a year. If I can gain enough customers or tax refund at the end of the year to cover the cost of my product, and I get 12 months of product for free, is that worth it? In my opinion, it is. If we start there, then network marketing is just not a scam. Hey, listen, I want to show you a formula for how to get your product for free. Is that value for you? Yeah. Okay. So now $113 every month you don't have to pay for. Okay. Why are we not starting there? Why are we not starting and saying, all right, you're not going to make $1 million. If I could show you that if you got 20 customers and you kept that, 2 drop off, you get 2 more, you got to replace that. If you got 20 customers, you're going to make a carpet. You're probably going to make $500 a month. Is that acceptable to you? Yeah. Why are we not starting there? Why are we saying it's got to be the $1 million? If people are making an extra $50,000 a year, working 3-4 hours a week, I don't think too many people are going to complain. I really don't. We have to start. It's this sensationalism bullshit of the millions that I agree with too that needs to fucking stop.
Kind of my wake up calls was when my accountant did my taxes, and she said, "Oh, okay, I've got your taxes done, and you net $10,000." And I said, "How much? What?" I said, "What are you talking about? 10,000?" Because one thing that we know about multi-level marketing, one thing that I experienced is you are working 24/7. Whether it's content creation, whether it's, trying to get customers, working with customers, trying to recruit, which is the majority of the work because you make the most, and Prove It is not any different in my opinion. You don't get paid for a lot of that stuff. So when you look at the hourly wage,
this would be the same if you started your own sweatshirt company. You'd be online nonstop, posting about your sweatshirts, sliding in people's DMs. Hey, I've got this sweatshirt, blah, 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 blah. what you're talking about is nothing special. I did it when I own my gym. I do it when I have to do 24/7 content on a martial arts channel for YouTube. Find old content, clip it, cut it, film new content, write down stuff I want to. Marco is probably working a majority of the time to come up with new research for his content for his YouTube channel so that you will go donate to his Patreon account. Is he complaining? I don't know about you, Erin, so I can't include you in this. I've so far seen every single person who's an anti-MLM person does content. You guys spend hours. Marco did a 4-hour live stream on me a couple weeks ago. God knows how long that took him to prepare for finding my clips and whatnot. Julie Joe, Jessica Hickson, Cece Suarez, Savannah Marie, everybody's got their own store, right? Hey, here's my Etsy store. Here's my this store. You all got your own PayPal, GoFundMe, whatever the hell it is. Click on the link, Patreon. What? You're doing the same thing. And define the work 24/7. Is it really work? Posting content, sliding in people's DMs and having conversations. Is that really that hard work? It's repetitious. Trying to influence people to become a customer, client, or partner of yours. That's a conversation that does take work out of you. But don't act like you're fucking sweating in a ditch somewhere digging 24/7. This is the simplest business in the world.
When you look at the time, energy, and effort that you've put into trying to get this thing to work, and then you net $10,000, and
maybe you just suck. Marco tried stand-up comedy. Marco was in music. He's got stuff on his TikTok account, raps, right? How many hours do you think he poured into his passion of stand-up comedy and rap? And how many comedians are trying to make it? How many rappers are trying to make it? And yeah, he did a video that he took off his YouTube channel condemning the stand-up comedian industry. What is it, a scam? Is music a scam? So, Erin, maybe you just sucked at the business. And we know that most of the people who come in, they're not going to put in the same level of effort that you're going to put in. 80% of them are going to disappear. You're left with 20%. Now that 20%, maybe 10, 12 of them are going to stay in the background, and 2 out of the rest of the 8 are going to do something. It's hard work. There's nothing wrong with you saying, I just got exhausted doing the same fucking thing over and over again, and people being lazy. Because you haven't addressed that yet. You haven't talked about the fact how most people who get involved in network marketing are fucking lazy, and that's why you don't make your money. So again, maybe you just were horrible at this industry.
I was in the top 0.38% of Prove It. Top 0.38%. I was a car earner.
Which is so funny because the main selling point of every MLM that I've seen, at least, is time freedom, fire your...
Top 3% too, then what's the volume of people who are in there? I want that number. So, I mean, was there like 60 people in it at the time? And so again, too, I'm going to break this down. Maybe I'm wrong. If I go into a company and I'm one of the first 10, because it sounds like you got involved with Prove It at the very beginning. If I go in at the beginning and there's 10 people involved and I'm one of 3 and we all each have 1 recruit underneath us and the other ones don't have any, I'm the top 3% of the company. But we're not making any money yet because it's in the beginning. So those numbers are so subjective when you wind up breaking them out. So that's why I don't believe any of this shit either. When people say I was in the top such the company, what's the ratio volume of how many people are in your parallel line underneath you, the volume of working? I want to hear all this shit too. And then what are the top 1% in comparison to you? Because what's the top 1% could be making $500,000 a month. Then what's next? The top 2%, the closest people underneath them, they're making $25,000 a month. That's a big difference, but it's still the percentage of across everybody else out there. So that's why these numbers are so fucking easily manipulated and disingenuous.
Your boss, wake up without an alarm clock, all these and it's like, bro, you are quite literally on the hamster wheel.
If you choose to be. If you choose to be, it's subjective.
Yeah, I mean, my last year in Prove It, I was a 6-figure earner and had the car.
So you went from $10,000 to 6 figures? That's a massive jump. Why are you not talking about what you did to get to those 6 figures?
And like all kinds, I still have my car, but It's just crazy because
Holy shit, you got a car that's not a liability? You're not paying for it? Oh, but it's a scam. Fuck.
those are the pain points that people use. Those are the things that they use to draw people in.
And lastly, if she did it, does that not mean other people can do it? And maybe she just let her negative experience get in it. So she's going to pre-qualify every single person out there and just run them away. Again, he screwed me over because he slept with me and didn't call me back. So I'm going to tell everybody the world he's a scumbag. Maybe you just were bad in bed.
And time freedom, just like you said, fire your boss, work for yourself, work from anywhere. Well, you're not working from anywhere. You're working from everywhere.
Yeah.
And you are
Yep.
working constantly, and your life is fitting into the pockets of the day. And when you're doing your
Tell me you've never been a business owner without telling me you've never been a business owner. Holy shit. That's why this business preys on weak-minded people, because they're so easily manipulated. And I hate that. That needs to fucking stop.
life in the pockets of the day, you feel guilty for not working your multi-level marketing business, because the MLM becomes the main thing. It becomes a part of your personality. That culture gets into your body, and it's like your life as whatever you were before the MLM becomes what you do in the pockets of your day.
Totally.
It's crazy.
Totally. Yeah. Wow. That's a great point. And especially you being, when
How
you
was
joined
that a
the first
scam?
MLM, you said you were a new mom, right? So
It's
this
not a
probably,
scam, guys.
I mean, I can't imagine how much time this took away from family.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there were many times where my husband was walking in from work and I was walking out to run to do a party, and I was getting home super late and waking up the next morning and getting my daughter ready for school and, starting it all over again. And
Are your kids in sports yet? Where are you going to be transporting them to one place and then missing another? And oh my God, my husband and I haven't seen each other, so we got to schedule date night. That's life. It's not a business scam. This is the shit you guys got to stop. You're being disingenuous.
and I can't stress enough how much time people spend and they're not getting paid for it.
It's sales. It's pure 100% commission sales. You are told that up front. If you don't see that, then you didn't ask the right questions and you're not fit for any type of business. Not to mention the fact, if you went out and opened a brick and mortar, you're not getting paid your first 3 to 5 years as well too. So Erin, you just were not cut out for business.
Put up a YouTube video. You and I know this, and you film it, you edit it, you put it up, and it's passive income. People watch it, you get paid for it.
If you get 1,000 subscribers and your content circulates. Now, do you want to talk about the YouTube manipulation? Do you know that YouTube has purposely slowed down the views of content being put out so that you will put more shorts up? You want the analytics. I've got 114,000 subscribers. I've got a YouTube channel that's got 14 million views to it. If you want to talk about analytics and how YouTube has purposely slowed stuff down so that you will focus your stuff on lives and you will focus your stuff on shorts, is that a scam too now? Don't get in this, because you're again, how about all the people who have YouTube? My YouTube channel's got 474 subscribers on this one. It's not monetized. There's no passive income. So is it a scam? Should I stop? This is the shit that really, you guys do need to be exposed, because you're trying to expose shit that you don't know what you're talking about.
Through AdSense, cool. But MLMs they say all the time about, residual income.
Right.
And it's not a steady source of income. It is.
Neither is YouTube. My YouTube, I was making $5,000 a month years ago. I took time off, right? I took 5 years off of producing content for my YouTube channel. And then the money went down. Then it went back up. Then YouTube's algorithm changed and it wasn't the same thing. Don't manipulate and be this liar. Don't do this. Show everybody your analytics and let's look at the flow of how things go.
Is something that is based off of of other people's effort. And
and if YouTube was so good, you guys wouldn't ask for money for Patreon or any other format that you do.
Comes and goes. People drop ranks. They join another company. They hit the fast start
Correct.
bonuses.
Yes.
They join another company. It's over and over again.
MLMs really mischaracterize the idea of passive income. MLM is not passive income. Passive income means you do the work one time and then you never have to do it again and you continually get paid off that thing.
I won't disagree with that that definition because I hate the passive income stuff. If you stop doing your business, it's going to go down 100%. I mean, if you invest in property, you've got a rental property. Yeah, as long as you have a tenant every month, that income's going to come in, right? To cover the cost of the property. Maybe you profit a little bit. I don't know another business you set it and forget it. I don't know anywhere else that does it. So he's not going to get an argument on this. It's the way it's presented as well, too. It's passive to a point. You hit a point, there's an expectation, but that threshold needs to be maintained.
MLM, you are constantly having to recruit people. Your recruits are constantly having to continue. And if somebody leaves your company, or if, God forbid,
they don't have to. You're just not going to make what you think you're going to make if you don't. That has to be pointed out. You can have a successful network marketing business and not recruit. The business model that I'm in with Juice Plus, I actually make more money when I sell the product versus recruiting. It's actually more it's beneficial for me to have more in a ratio of customers that is for recruits. So this argument will always be, you have to. No, if you want to. If you're going to put that effort in. And it all boils down to one thing. People can't recruit. Their skill set sucks. So they're not working on that to improve. So automatically it's, oh, the industry's about recruiting. So, because you can't do it, it's a scam. We have to talk about that too.
Your entire downline up and quits, or your company gets shut down, or the world shuts down for 2 years, or whatever it is, guess what? That income is no more. Meaning you never had passive income. It was active income. You were working, or someone was working.
Yeah, I always use the analogy
There's nothing wrong with that.
Spinning plates. You know, imagine you had, 2 sets of arms. You're spinning plates. One is, customers, and then you have recruiting, and then you have, I got to keep my team motivated. And then you have content creation, and you have all of these plates that you're spinning. And the second you stop spinning a plate, that crashes. And when that crashes,
name me another business where that doesn't happen. You guys are doing it on your YouTube channel. Marco cleared out all the content that wasn't MLM, and he rebranded himself for being specifically anti-MLM, because that was the plate spinning that was getting the most content. His live views get more views than his posted content. His Instagram doesn't get as much views as his YouTube. So, and his TikTok doesn't get as much as that. So he's got all these plates spinning. What is he going to spend the most focus on? This is why you guys are so full of shit and disingenuous in your arguments, or you just don't know what you're talking about because it's everywhere.
Let's use the example of somebody joins another company and they take people with them, because they do, and then they actively cross-recruit, whether it's intentional or not, they do. That's shitty. I agree with that. And then you have this leg leave, and that's where we see these lives where these people are talking bad about, talking about integrity and this and that, and it's all designed around recruiting.
I agree.
Well, the idea of cross-recruiting is sort of impossible to avoid, because each company you join, you're told to make a list of however many 100 people that you know.
I am not a fan of that. And for the record, when I left Viseo, I think I had 60 partners I had recruited in an 18-month period. And I spoke to 2 of them to come with me. That was it. I believe it was 2. And that was it. Because I was not going to do that. I purposely didn't do it. Others had asked what I did. I said, I'm going somewhere else, but I did not recruit them. So I purposely because I'm going to avoid that drama. But that tactic is shitty.
And typically, the same people. Your mom is always going to be your mom. Your dad's always going to be your dad. Your brother always going to be your brother. So how could you not, even by accident, cross-recruit? You have the same Facebook friends and Instagram followers that you did a year ago, and now you're promoting a new company. So in that way, it's like
that's one of the things that I talk about in this industry that makes you look bad. Stick with a fucking company and work it. You look like shit bouncing around 6 MLM companies in 13 years. That looks bad. So that's why I never really talk about the company I'm with in any of my content. And I really didn't start talking about till 2 months ago, because I wanted people to see that I was promoting the industry, not the company. Because what if Viseo had closed down or Juice Plus had closed down? Oh, you were selling us on this fruits and vegetables in capsule form for 10 years, and now you're doing something else. What's the matter? You couldn't make it? I know how human nature is. But as long as people say, oh, you're still promoting network marketing, I am. That's why I start with the business first all the time, and why I have such a passion for really stopping these types of fucking reviews, because it really boils down to the person just was not treated properly.
The industry is cannibalizing itself, because if it's going to sue you for cross recruiting, it's like, motherfucker, how can I not? You literally want me to go to Walmart and find new strangers? Like, okay.
But that's what we do all the time. That's what you guys are doing in your views. You're putting out content on your YouTube in hopes to attract new people, right? You use content of myself, Jesse Lee Ward, because you know Erin's viewers, Julie Joe's viewers, Jessica's viewers, they already can't stand me. They can't stand Jesse Lee Ward. So they're going to come view you. You're cannibalizing from within your own too, Marco. Same thing. You've got a finite number of people right now who can't stand network marketing. There's a finite number of people who can stand it. Over time, people may change their views. People are going to join the business. It's going to keep growing in ebb and flow. So you're cannibalizing from within for your own purposes on your own content as well, too.
When you think about it that way, and when you think about how they write their policies and procedures for these distributors that the majority of people don't read when they sign up, they just click the button and go, all right.
100%.
You know,
100%.
and the non-competes and all of that stuff, it's absolutely ridiculous. And when you...
Yeah, but if you bought a Starbucks and you said, I know how to make coffee, and you didn't read how they did their business plan, you violated their branding content, you got sued. Would you be bitching about it?
Look at all the lawsuits that are involved with these companies and these people that leave and come, you know.
Don't forget, anybody could sue anybody for anything, anytime.
Go to another company, and it's such a misuse of the legal system.
Yeah.
So our tort loss, or tort for
okay, so
lawsuits.
your final year in Prove It, your accountant tells you you're only netting $10K for the whole year, which is less than $1,000 a month.
Get
which
to that
is
100,000
below poverty wages. So you could literally make more money than that begging for change on the corner every day for a couple hours, literally.
So go do that.
So was this like the awakening for you?
This was part of it. That was definitely part of the awakening. For me, it was kind of a cascade of events. So during the pandemic...
I'm also very curious. I want to hear what Erin's team had to say. I want to hear what her team members say about her recruiting process, how she trained. I want to hear what she was doing to pour into them to make sure that they were being successful. That's the one thing. You don't hear Julie Joe's team members. You don't hear Savannah Marie's team members. You don't hear Erin. I don't know what Erin's team members, if she has any out there. And why are none of them who that they were under talking? Jessica Hickson's, I don't know if she does anything on that. I want to hear if these people are making $100,000, if Jessica Hickson was making 25 grand a month, you had to have been pouring into a lot of people. Start interviewing them, and if they can corroborate what you were talking about, maybe you have a leg to stand on.
I got COVID. It was before we knew it was COVID and all that. And I was sick for 6 weeks, which means all the stuff that I used to do prior to getting sick, I was not able to do. And so I had to really pick and choose where my energy was going because I was so sick. And it was kind of in that time that I started to question, what am I doing? Why am I spending time with these people? Who's checked on me? Like, I'm deathly ill. This
is business. Nobody gives a shit about anybody.
Nobody outside of my personal team members, they checked on me and stuff. But as far as like leadership,
again, this is personal. It's not business. Every single thing for the last 26 minutes and 57 seconds has been personal. Nothing has been business.
Why am I spending time with these people? I don't understand. And then I would get on the Zooms after I was feeling better. And I'm like, what are we learning here? All this is people, stroking their own ego. Look at me. Look what I have.
Yep.
What I'm doing. But where's the information to help people navigate social media?
So why didn't you stay and change? If you were making $100,000 a year with this company, why didn't you stay in the company and try to fix it? You don't work for anybody. You're your own private team. Why didn't you go your own way and solve the problem?
Or, actually operate a business, where is that stuff, and I started to question everything. And one day I was scrolling on TikTok. I came across anti-MLM content. I hadn't heard of
the Woman Haters Club.
This time, I didn't even know that the income disclosure statement was in the back office. I hadn't heard that. I didn't even know what that was. And so I'm watching this video, and Prove It is notorious for front loading through undue influence. They don't say, hey, front load, obviously, but they'll say, hey, new flavors dropping. Make sure that you get 2 boxes. You know, the leadership within Prove It will say that.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you get 2 boxes. And so you have all of these distributors that are front loading these products, and you see it on their shelves behind them when they're going live.
That's business. And
Started to just question everything. So then you have the netting 10,000. What am I doing on these Zooms? Why am I spending time with these people? Am I really making any money? Obviously.
see, this is where I dealt with this shit in the last company with a leadership team that wasn't training. So I decided to step up to the fucking plate and start talking about this shit. I'm still in the industry. It sucks. It's got problems, but I'm not about to go say, oh shit, it fucking sucks because 80% of the people quit, disappear, this, that. I want to change it. But this is what this does. It attracts a fucking hater club that is like, oh, you know, it's a scam. But you made all that money. Why didn't you stay to change it?
My account is, I'm not really making any money. I was a 6-figure earner at that point, and I'm like, how does this?
Maybe you had a
all
bad
happen?
accountant.
So
Maybe
wait,
you had
your
a bad accountant.
expenses were exceeding, like you were making 6 figures, 100K a year, technically on paper, but your expenses were cutting it down to less than 10?
Yes, and that
You were paying $90,000 a year. $90,000 a year, because you didn't say 6 figures as far as maybe you were making 200K, 300K a year. You just said 6 figures. So let's assume you were spending $90,000 a year to run an online business. Holy fuck, did you mismanage your money? Show those financials.
that is something that is not typically talked about. With Prove It, you have the events, you have all of the products, you have multiple accounts, because Prove It, in my opinion, is notorious for having ghost accounts. So even though there was only one promoter account in our household, there were multiple ghost accounts that I was managing auto ships, that I was ordering products when a new flavor would drop. Or
you're admitting that you did, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing illegal or scamish. You're a part of this. You could have said no at any time. Holy fuck.
Something along those lines. All of that adds up.
So these were fake customers that you were making up essentially to contribute to your own downline.
Yeah.
Okay, but that comes with the cost of having to then buy inventory for all of those accounts.
Don't have to buy, you choose to buy.
Yeah, okay, now it makes sense.
Juice Plus has a gold, silver, and bronze package, right? They've got a duo, trio, and a quad, and then they've got the Tower Garden. I don't buy all of them. I buy what I choose to buy. That's it. If a company says, hey, if my upline says, hey, we really recommend you buy this, thanks for your recommendation. I appreciate that. I'm going to make a decision whether or not I'm going to buy it. Holy crap. They made me do it. They made me do it. That's what you sound like right now. Oh, they made me do it. Did they? Okay.
Hence why you would have costs that exceed. So you were inventory loading, filling up the house with boxes of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's
Also,
your problem.
Because they sell
course.
trials.
That's your problem, and that's you did it then. That's you did it.
They want people to sell trials, but a lot of people don't sell trials, based on my experience. A lot of people don't sell trials, and then they're told, well, you can just drink it, Okay, well, if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, which I have learned a ton in this time frame, sure, it's a write-off to a certain extent, some of the expenses, but that money still comes from somewhere. So if you're making, however many dollars a year on paper, you still have to look at if you're in the negative or not. You still need to do a profit and loss statement so you can see if these decisions, like, is it a really good decision for me to go to this event? Well, if I'm already in the negative, it's probably not a good business decision to then spend more money when you're already in the hole.
So I want to ask about.
So you learned, and instead of fixing it and saying, shit, I made 100K. Now what do I do? How do I adjust my expenditures? How do I not? How does my overhead change? How does my profit and loss margin change? Instead of staying in the industry, you took it so personally, which no one above, you don't work for anyone. You are an independent with yourself, right? You left and became an anti-MLMer because it's a scam, because you failed. You did. The industry didn't fail. They said, hey, do this. You said, okay, I'm going to do it. You had a choice with everything that you were exposed to. You made bad choices. We all do, but you didn't learn from your mistakes. So, it's a scam. It's a scam. I'm going to do YouTube content. It's a scam. It's manipulation. It's a scam. Where's your disclaimer admitting the fact, I didn't know what I was doing? You said it in the very beginning. You didn't learn from any of this and say, if I was going to do it again, this is what I would do differently. You're not trying to solve the problem. It's like you're holding a grudge over an ex, and that ex has moved on decades ago.
About the events, because MLM companies always defend and say, well, those are optional. Don't spend all your money if you can't afford it. But what would actually happen if you didn't go?
Yeah, if you didn't go to these events and
I'm not a fan of the events at all, just to let you know. I don't like rah-rah. I don't like motivation. My upline knows I fucking hate the events. But they are helpful for fueling, to learning the business. It's hobnobbing, it's elbow rubbing. I fucking hate them. I still go. I can't stand them. I will say that to agree with them.
I'm going to not just speak on Prove It. I'm going to say like my overall experience with multiple companies. It basically sends the message to your leader that you're not taking your business seriously. So I have seen
if I taught a seminar for martial arts and my students didn't want to go, they're not taking it seriously. If there was law enforcement conventions, I'm not taking it seriously. It's you have to say, I get what you're saying. You get the cold shoulder from your upline when you don't go. But yeah, if you're going to totally immerse yourself in your company and your business, you're going to be part of the team and the company. So there is an element of truth to that.
Leaders from various companies say, well, when was the last event that you went to? If you reach out for help, hey, can I get some help with this? Or I have questions about this. When was the last event you went to? When was the last team training you attended?
Yeah,
that's what makes people worthy of getting the coaching.
Yes.
It's crazy to me.
Training is such a...
The training is bullshit to a degree. It's a lot of emotionalism and motivation and hype and this and that. If the training was legitimate, cold market, hot, warm market, pitching and closing and objection handling tactics, and if the events were product concepts and really education and you weren't going, I'd have a problem too. Where I'm aligning with them is I know it's the manipulation. I know it's the rah-rah. So that's why I'm like 51% on Team Marco and Erin here with this argument because I understand it.
A funny word to me, training, coaching in this context as well, because you're, like you said, what are you actually learning? You're listening to the same guy as the last week or multiple times in the past week, talking about how he went from rags to riches and telling people how they should taproot and drawing a pyramid on a whiteboard every single week. How is that training? What
100%.
What are you training?
100%.
Yeah,
I agree.
no, wildly.
See, there's a lot I agree with them on. There really is. When he gets to this, now that's business. She's talking all personal. What he is talking about is bullshit. How the fuck do you draw dots, 3 dots and 2 lines on the board and say, this is you and 2 people? And I hate that shit.
Wildly accurate what you just said. It's a lot of the Zooms are really just kind of flexing.
See now how I did, if you scroll through my content, you've seen me talk about marketing, sales, tactics, objection handling, proper pitching, tonality, perceived expert in your field, presentation skills, training. But, let's not talk about that.
Take a picture, tag me in your stories, and it's really just designed for how it looks on social media.
Totally, bro. Fuck. Okay, so I want to ask you this. In the total 13 and a half years that you were in different MLM companies,
6.
Before you had this epiphany with your accountant giving you those numbers back, had anybody, like, I'm thinking maybe it would be your husband here in the past decade before that, had they ever said to you, like, but look at the bank account?
No, and the reason that didn't happen is because I always kept my business.
I'm going to let her talk. You will never know the true hours she worked. You will never know the effort that she put in. It's not possible. They could say I worked my ass off. They're sitting on the couch texting and that's it. And they're texting. They're not having conversations. I don't know that you have to take her word for it. And that's the one thing it's non-debatable. And I hate this shit because the hours comparative to what their income is completely subjective.
In a separate account. So he didn't really see what was going on. I saw money coming in and I was like, well, I have this to spend. It's fine. There wasn't really, none of that was really talked about. My husband has always been super supportive of anything that I did. So he saw me working hard and was like, okay, all right, this is, we're going to make this thing happen. And it wasn't until I told him about my accountant said, and I said, I think I have to get out of this. I think I'm done. He was like, well, what do you mean? Because by this point I had done it for so long, And I woke up one day and I said, I'm done. I'm resigning. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't be a part of this. And by that time I had consumed a ton of anti-MLM content, started putting the pieces together. And I was done. Although he was always supportive of what I did, no matter what it is.
Well, that's good because, I mean, in a lot of cases, these people who are brainwashed by these companies are often told, like, leave your spouse if they are not supportive of what you're doing,
who does that?
or if they're not also in the business.
I purposely tell my people, I'm not recruiting you unless your spouse has a conversation with me and they're 100% on board, because I know how fucking vile that gets. A non-supportive spouse or women on a team with a guy running it, that's problems too. Holy shit, whoever does that should be fucking just dropped.
Then why are you with them? I've heard that multiple
That's
times
horrible.
from different companies.
That is horrible.
So
Happened and prove it too.
So you finally got out, and now you must be feeling this, like, the weight of, damn, virtually everybody that knows me for being what they call a Hun, right? Prospecting, just obsessive Facebook, Instagram postings and opportunity. And now you're going to leave that whole identity behind. So what was it like for you to face that? And were there relationships that had been damaged from before that, that now you were able to mend?
What was that like? Scary. Scary. My entire identity was the company that I was representing. You eat, breathe, and sleep that company. Every interaction you have with a human is you're sorting, and are they going to be a customer? Are they going to be a distributor? It's the epitome of transactional relationships. So when I got out, business. I had to learn.
I don't have friends anymore. I mean, with the political differences, with the lockdowns, with the ideologies, friends cost money and it sucks. I am 100% focused on my financial future, 100%. I have transactional relationships and I'm upfront with people about that. I'm not friends. I want to learn from you. I want to learn how I have people who are in cross industries and I am, and we talk about their business so I can find out what they're doing right and apply it with my business. This is personal. Every single thing that came out of Erin's mouth in this entire video was personal. None of it was business.
What boundaries were, because we're taught in an MLM to be so open and vulnerable and share everything. So I had to learn how to set boundaries. I had to learn that even though when I was in an MLM, it wasn't my intention to manipulate people. I was manipulating people.
That's how you were taught. I get it. I did in the beginning too.
And working through the guilt and working through the pain that I know that I caused people from participating in this, just through pushing the MLM. And so that was kind of why I started to think about telling my story on a bigger platform, or, on a different platform. I was getting a lot of questions because I was somebody that was super active, and all of a sudden I just started to kind of, not be so present. People are like, where are you at? And then I resigned, and it was like, people were like, what? Like, where are you? I don't understand what's going on. And so for me, it was just kind of easy.
Yeah. You abandoned your team. You couldn't tell them what was going on. So how many people did you have underneath you? And instead of solving the problem and making sure they didn't experience what you experienced, you just resigned and abandoned them? Well, that's not too full of integrity, is it? I mean, shit, when you look at it, you had an opportunity. If you were in the top 3% of the company, you had an opportunity to help improve and make sure people didn't make the same mistake you did. But you just quit.
Easier to hit the record button.
And stop saying you resign, because you don't resign, you quit. There's no resigning. You just quit. You stop doing it. You don't send a letter. Corporate doesn't give a shit if you wind up sending them oh, here's my resignation letter. Okay, you quit. It's not that type of a position.
Tell my story. And then I had a lot more questions. And then it got to the point where I was just like, I've been in this industry for a long time. I see the tactics. I know what they're doing. I need to speak on this. And for me, the amount of shame that I felt participating in all of this was my driving factor to educate. It was my driving factor to be able to say, this is what they're doing. This is about recruiting. This is, why they're saying this and how they're saying this, and being able to educate in that way.
Can you still sell, recruit with integrity in network marketing and make money? The answer is 100% yes. That's what I do. End of story. That's what several people that I know do. If you could tell people, I want your business, I want you either as a client, customer, or as a recruit, and you're telling them up front, how is the industry still a scam? If you don't manipulate people, if you tell them, yeah, this is the amount of money you're going to have to spend every month. This is what we suggest you do. This is what I want you to do. I'm not going to I tell my people, I want you at conference. Why? Because you will. My team knows I hate conference. Well, why are you going if you hate conference? Because I know I fucking hate it so much, but I'm probably going to learn something there. And I'm probably going to be around people that, like, my competitive drive will kick in. I'll see the people who are making $1 million a month, and I'll be like, fuck them. I know what I want it to spark in me. But I'm transparent about this shit. When I recruit people, hey, listen, this is Dominic Izzo. This is a recruiting call. I'm trying to get your business. What? So everything is personal for all of you anti-MLMers, and you just refuse to admit it. You just don't want to be wrong about this. So, of course, the industry's got to be wrong.
Was designed to hopefully repair some of the relationships that were damaged from me being in the multi-level marketing companies.
Totally. And did that happen? Were relationships repaired?
Yeah. I still talk to several people. Some people are still in, their multi-level marketing companies, and we communicate and we're friends, and it's all good. They know how I feel.
Wow.
Yeah. Which I know is not the norm. They know where I stand. They will watch some of my videos. They see what's going on, but they're in their own kind of process of, how do I feel about this? And I'm going to be supportive of that.
Right.
And then there's other people that have gotten out, and we've continued to maintain a friendship, and we talk every day, and it's not transactional based, which is incredible, because if we're just chatting about normal stuff and being friends, like, I had to learn how to be friend that was not trying to recruit you.
Totally. I think that it's good that you're approaching those friends who are still in MLM from a place of love, because they are already set up in their mind to react defensively and go further into their shell and put up a shield if you say things like, you're brainwashed, you're in a pyramid scheme. Like, they're already, and that's something I had to learn as well with my first experience with MLM. My best friend joined World Financial Group, and I tried to say, hey man, I think this is a pyramid scheme. And that was not a good move.
That didn't go well, I'm sure.
Did not go well, no. We're still not friends to this day, unfortunately. But, like you, that was sort of the beginning for me of like, damn, even though I was never in a company, it's like, I've been royally fucked by this industry.
I respect him for admitting this.
Collaterally.
He's never been in it, but he's reviewing it.
I think that's something that isn't necessarily talked about a whole lot. It doesn't just impact the person that's in the multi-level marketing company. It impacts everybody around them in some way, shape, or form. If you're in an MLM and you join and they're like, okay, who can you reach out to? Well, the first person their first people you're taught to reach out in most cases are your closest friends and family.
And I've done extensive training on this, on the purpose of that, how to do it, how not to recruit them, why you shouldn't do it, and how it sets you up for epic failure, but you're also planting a seed. I've trained on this extensively. Why your friends and family, they're not the ones you want to recruit. They'll never do your business. See, I learned this, Erin, and I wanted to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So I started talking about this stuff, and I stayed in the industry to improve it. Again, this is all personal.
So in a sense, you're taught to victimize the people that trust you the most. Just to gain a little tiny bit of commission, or if they join to get a larger, bonus or commission just from recruiting or whatever. But
totally. Well, I'm glad that you got out of that, and you now also make anti-MLM content yourself, right? So tell the people about that channel and what that's been like.
Yeah, it's been therapeutic for me. for sure, to be able to say I participated in that, and that's why I know what they're doing, and that's why they're saying things a certain way. Yeah, my channel is just under my name, Erin Bies, and I started it. It'll be 2 years in August of this year. And I do live streams and
making money off of emotionalism.
I do a lot of reactions because I think that just my experience is I'm able to kind of see through some of the stuff, and then going through income disclosure statements and stuff like that to back all of it up, I think is really important.
Totally. So I'll put the link to your channel and socials or whatever in the description, and I'll put a thing on the screen so people can see. And yeah, check out Erin's content, and just keep supporting this anti-MLM movement, because you know, these companies have pretty much an ironclad defense against the proposition that they are an illegal pyramid scheme, because they all have their companies set up in a way where they ensure that a majority of the money comes from sales to an outside market, more so than recruiting.
So then it's a legitimate business.
Questionable in my opinion, but the only thing that is stronger than the law is the will of the public. Gay marriage was illegal. People had to literally take to the street to make it legal. Marijuana was illegal. People had to take to the street to make it legal. We had people of color in North America enslaved for hundreds of years, and it wasn't until people...
You're equating capitalism to fucking constitutional social issues. That's not the same. That's not the same. There's no... Okay.
Took to the actual streets to make it legal. So we don't have to actually take to the physical streets literally, but we all have a responsibility. If we've lost a friend, if we've seen a relationship ruined, if we've lost money, lost time, etc., if we've been affected negatively, it's up to each of us.
How many people have gotten cancer from McDonald's just by eating that shit over the fucking years? Heart disease, diabetes, all this stuff. You gonna go after McDonald's next?
Individually, in my opinion, to report our experience to the FTC, report that company, and the link to
I want to report the fact that my best friend turned into an asshole, and he's manipulating people.
I agree with all of that. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I thought it was a cool conversation.
Totally.
I hope it helps people. I always end my videos with, hey, don't join an MLM.
Yeah, yeah, I've said that before too. Yep. I see the sign behind you on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
All right. That was that. And Erin Bies content, 7,000 people, and that's her stuff. Is she now reviews other people's stuff? So again, all this. I mean, here's the thumbnails with the shocked face and the scowl. All this stuff. Ray Higdon tries to defend MLM. This is all emotionalism. There is nothing in here that is going to be on business. It's all on their tactics, which, why are you not going after, like I said, if we know McDonald's is poisoning our children, why are you not going after McDonald's by marketing for kids against their Happy Meals, right? Because you're bringing it in. Are you going against certain type of movements that are targeting kids for certain things that are going on socially wise? So, I mean, I vehemently disagree with that crap, but it's freedom of choice, all this. This is our, oh my God. Tons of content out there. Let's see. Wait a second. So she puts out emotional content that you could relate to. Oh, she has a store. Here's a store. Look, got to buy her product. Join. Oh, for $4.99 a month, what will you get? It's a recurring payment, just like network marketing. What do you get? You get badges next to your name. With the light, you $6.99 a month. You get easy access to new videos. A shout. She'll say your name on live streams. Oh my gosh! Photos and updated status. Exclusive members only videos. So wait a second. For $6.99 a month, you'll be in her club. Really? Let's see. Alignment. Connecting on social media. She will friend you on social media. You'll be worthy of her friend request. Members only live streams. Wow. Let's see. Facebook, Instagram. Wow. Oh, here's a mailing address. She would love to connect with you on social media. That's my 2 cents. And you know what? I get the anti-network marketing community. They just got manipulated. That's it. They're mostly people who were brought into the business. They were not educated on sales. They weren't educated on management. They weren't educated on team recruiting, on team management. And the outcome is the business is a scam because emotionally, the easiest way to discuss it is they were dating somebody. That person turned out to be a liar and manipulator. So now all men or all women are vile and evil. That's my 2-cent review. I think Marco's got some talent. I think he does bring up some good points I agree with. But in this particular video, it was 100% personal. Nothing was business on there. So again, until they point out, you can't say, I believe the business is it's a pyramid. It is a pyramid scheme. It's a system. It's not a scam. The manipulation people do, that's shitty, but that's people. Okay. And I don't understand how you're going to go, all of us people are going to just say we not like it. And all of a sudden the business is going to be deemed illegal. It's not how it works. Instead of being part of the problem, I wish these people would be part of the solution and start educating people and actually going in the industry and making it work properly. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you found value in it. I'll see you in the next video.